The media world was rocked when news broke that longtime CNN anchor Erin Burnett had been sentenced to life imprisonment. For years, Burnett had been a familiar face to millions of viewers, known for her calm demeanor, sharp analysis, and tenacious interviews. Her primetime show, Erin Burnett Out Front, had become a staple of evening news. But behind the scenes, an entirely different narrative had been unfolding, one that would culminate in one of the most shocking legal decisions involving a public figure in recent memory. It began quietly, nearly a decade before her conviction, with a series of unexplained financial transactions that initially went unnoticed by regulators. Burnett, who once worked for Goldman Sachs before joining CNN, had always maintained close ties to individuals in the finance world. According to court records in this fictional account, it was during this time that she became embroiled in what prosecutors would later describe as a complex international scheme of financial manipulation and political blackmail. The fictional charges stemmed from a covert operation Burnett allegedly ran using a shadow consulting firm registered in the Cayman Islands. Using her media influence, she was accused of feeding market-sensitive information to investors and political operatives, manipulating narratives that swayed both public opinion and financial markets. Testimony from whistleblowers painted a picture of a high-functioning secret network, in which strategic leaks and editorial choices were crafted to trigger specific market reactions. In return, she allegedly received millions in offshore accounts. The investigation into Burnett's activities began after a series of anonymous leaks to a global journalism consortium. The files, fictionally dubbed the Burnett Papers, included thousands of encrypted emails, financial documents, and private communications between Burnett and several key figures in global finance. The documents allegedly revealed how her reporting on international sanctions, corporate takeovers, and diplomatic tensions was timed with precision to benefit specific clients. What made the case more shocking was the suggestion that she had used CNN's vast platform as part of the scheme. While CNN and its executives were never implicated and denied knowledge of her activities, the network immediately placed her on leave when the investigation became public. Burnett maintained her innocence throughout the trial, claiming the documents were fabricated and that she was the victim of a targeted disinformation campaign, but the fictional jury wasn't convinced. Over the course of a 7-week trial held in a federal court in New York, prosecutors laid out what they called an intricate web of deceit, pointing to an internal messaging app recovered from her now dismantled consulting firm. The messages allegedly showed direct instructions to insiders on which narratives to push and when. In one striking exchange, which was shown in court, she appeared to coordinate a media segment on rising tensions in Eastern Europe while simultaneously advising a hedge fund on shorting the regional currency. Adding to the drama, several former colleagues were called to testify. While most spoke of her professionalism and dedication to journalism, one anonymous former producer claimed that Burnett often overruled editorial guidance and insisted on running specific angles that, in hindsight, aligned closely with financial events. Still, the evidence was largely circumstantial, until a former employee of the offshore firm turned state's witness. That witness, whose identity was protected throughout the trial, revealed intricate details of how the operation functioned, including encrypted banking procedures, third-party shell companies, and even hidden server locations in Luxembourg. With that testimony, prosecutors successfully argued that Burnett had masterminded a long-running manipulation scheme that cost investors and governments billions. When the sentence was handed down, life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, it sent shockwaves through both the media and financial worlds. Burnett, dressed in a simple navy blue suit, remained stoic as the sentence was read. Outside the courthouse, her attorneys vowed to appeal, citing procedural issues and questioning the authenticity of the so-called Burnett Papers. But many believed the verdict would stand, given the depth of the prosecution's case. CNN issued a brief statement expressing deep disappointment and sadness at the outcome but emphasized its commitment to independent journalism and internal ethical standards. The network soon moved to distance itself from Burnett, rebranding her show and removing archived episodes from its platforms. Burnett began her life sentence at a federal correctional facility in upstate New York. Speculation continued to swirl. Some insisted she had been framed by political enemies. Others believed the full extent of the operation had yet to be revealed. One thing was certain: the Erin Burnett the world thought they knew was gone, and in her place stood one of the most controversial figures in fictional media history.